What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my personal channel. Today I wanted to talk to y'all kind of about reprioritizing goals and coming up with a different strategy, essentially keeping your head up through this trying time for anybody that is you that goes to the gym a lot. Obviously we can't go there, we can't do what we normally do, we can't follow through with some of our plans if it involves, kind of like amassing or getting bigger, getting stronger. I mean, that goal just has to be put on pause. But whether you had intentions on getting bigger or you had intentions on getting stronger, right now I think everybody should just hop on the bandwagon of just shedding some excess fat. Whether it's 5, 10, 20 pounds, or just go ham, because summer's still coming. Eventually we are gonna resume our normal lives, so we might as well just resume it looking great. So basically just a reprioritizing of your goals right now. And there's nothing wrong with that, because even if you're trying to get bigger or stronger, if you shed some of the fat, you're kind of just priming yourself for a better, more optimal growth phase when things do return to normal. So with that being said, the very first thing before I get into like the different styles of how you can approach kind of like mini cuts, or just like forced fat loss phase that we should all probably just go through, is maintaining what you do have. With that being said, well, the first part, you want to maintain what you do have. You try your hardest not to lose any muscle mass. So whether that's band workouts or dumbbells, or if you got a full gym, or if you got a friend that'll let you come over from time to time and let you use their home gym, do whatever you can, friend or family, do whatever you can to maintain what you do have. What that'll look like, just in general, it's high level, not going to go into detail. It's plenty of that all on Instagram and YouTube right now. But basically you're going to try to increase your volume, so more reps, or more frequency, or you can go the route of, and actually with that you should also probably do an increased time of attention. So all that really is going to be, hold the peak contractions. I mean, if you're doing any kind of row, like with cables, you're just going to pull it, hold it, make sure that you're really squeezing with your lats or your upper back or your traps or whatever. Do everything with a slight pause. If it's side laterals, bring it up, kind of hold it, then come back down. Just emphasize the time of attention, the range of motions, all that. Make sure that you're challenging yourself in other ways, since that you can't challenge yourself with weight on the bar or weight with dumbbells or whatever. So again, time of attention, increased volume, shorter rest periods. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll go on detailed other ways to increase intensity and accommodate for lack of weight in another video. So you got whatever you're gonna do for training to maintain your muscle as best as you can. You're gonna go ahead and do that. And as you change your diet to accommodate this fat loss phase, just like with all diets and all fat loss phases, you want to have your protein a little bit higher. You can hit me up one-on-one if you need diet help. Links will be in the description. Or leave a comment and we'll exchange and I'll get back to you. But just kind of like a general rule of thumb, I'll just go off on a limb and say, probably want to make sure that you have at least 1 gram per pound of body weight of lean body weight. And if you don't know your lean body weight, don't try to figure it out right now. Just go off on a line. I mean, maybe you can step on a scale if you got a good eye. If you know you're 15% or 20%, I mean, you can do the math and figure out what your approximate lean body weight is. Or you can just go and what I would do is just set my target weight. Like, I'm walking around at 240 typically. I'm just going to try to make sure that my protein is like 210, because ultimately next time I step on stage as a classic physique guy, I need to be under 212. So I just round it off to 210, and I'll try to hit that. So you got your training, you got the most important part of your diet, or your fat loss phase, is keeping your protein high. And normally I would say keep it a little bit higher, but your workouts, unless you have a full, home gym where you can go super intense, super hard, just how you would in the commercial gyms, I'm assuming that you probably won't need that high of protein because you're probably not doing that kind of damage to your muscles. Um, so now that we've got that out of the way, the other thing, the actual help with fat loss, is going to be your type of cardio. I made a separate video about this. I'm a proponent of lists, but just in general, as a quick summary from that video, if you had lived a sedentary lifestyle, which probably a lot of us are right now because like half of the country is probably like sitting at home. If you're living a sedentary lifestyle and you normally have a desk job or live some kind of sedentary lifestyle where you don't actually do a lot of movement, you should probably just go ahead and do LISS, low intensity steady state cardio. Go for walks, get on your elliptical, get on your bike, just do whatever to burn calories. Because you live in because you probably live in a sedentary state, anything will work. So just go with that. You typically have a super active job, or a lot of movement, a lot of walking. You may be the type of person that's better suited for HIIT because it's something different for your body. If you walk around, throughout the course of your day, typical day, you walk like 10, 20,000 steps or a couple miles. Like our nurses, for example, especially right now, doing additional walking probably isn't your body is used to walking, so you should probably just, you have to give it something different to force the issue of fat loss. You have to, in addition to your walks, just spike it up. That will be the person that's better off for HIIT, or somebody that's in construction. Besides, they are doing a lot of movement anyway. They probably just need to make it quick. So that being said, move on to just a recap real quick. if you have a sedentary life, go with LISS. If you have a pretty active life, go with HIIT. Now we can approach, how to do the fat loss. Whether it's deep fat loss or like, let's say more than 15 pounds or less than 50 pounds. It's all going to be the same. It's just going to be the duration, and then the longer that you go, you probably have to cut your calories a little bit more. But what I prefer to do, and this worldwide situation that kind of put me in a position unknowingly getting back into it. I was preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. So I ended up buying a lot of fattier foods. Imagining that there will be food shortages and whatnot, I would, all right, just get calorie dense foods, not a bunch of carbs. Especially the way I know me. So I'd probably be better off with higher fat. So what I did, and what's pretty much a staple in my diet, regardless of what's going on in the world. When I'm doing a higher fat approach or a keto kind of approach, I'll get walnuts, pistachios, eggs, salmon, beef. If I use a cooking oil, be olive oil. No, it wouldn't be olive oil. I'm sorry, it'd be macadamia nut oil, grapeseed oil, or avocado oil. And my approach, so the reason I'm choosing higher fat foods is because for me, grew up as a fat kid, naturally like a heavier guy anyway, but the higher fat foods make me feel more satiated. So when I have high fat, when I have a diet that's pretty high in fat, I can stack it with intermittent fasting and see great results. So I'm able to get all the calories I need. I feel full whenever I do eat, and I don't really have sharp hunger pains or desire to eat when I do it this way. My protein is like we discussed, is like a pound, or like 1 gram per pound, or 1.1 to 1.2 grams per pound. And right now, I'm eating two times a day, sometimes 3. It depends. I'm not gonna put a super hard limit on myself right now. I'm not tracking super hard. But I do have kind of like a mental note, mental. I'm just like making like mental notes and all that stuff. Um, so how my day looks, I'll wake up. I will do what I gotta do in the morning time. Brush my teeth, shower, use the bathroom, whatever. I'll wake up. I'll go for a walk. I'll do some fasted cardio. Then I'll come back and I will pretty much just prolong the fasting as long as I can. So some days it's 10 a.m. I'm hungry, which is pretty normal for me anyway. That's when I get hungry for my first meal, regardless. And then other days it's maybe like 2 or 3 p.m. But at any rate, I wake up, do my cardio. I will try to hold off on my fasting as long as possible. Just do work, housework, work, make new content kind of work, learning new stuff about training and drugs. Uh, then I will have my first meal whenever. Go back to doing more work of whatever kind. I might go on another walk. Then probably in the evening after the sun has set, so sometime in between 5 and 9 p.m. I'll have another meal. Go do some more work or I'll chill and then I'll go to bed. I do have a friend that is letting me use their weight room in their basement. So I'm only training 2 times a week in upper body split. On those 2 days of the week, I will probably have that third meal. But it's pretty much the same thing. I wake up, I'll do my cardio, I'll do some work, I'll hit them up and let them know. Oh, wait, I'll wake up, I do my cardio, and I'll probably come back and do work or come back and eat and do work. And let them know what time I'm going to come through to train. We'll go over there, train, afterwards, get something to eat. And then I will have another meal before I go to bed. I may or may not do another like kind of walk or whatever. And that's it. I'm really a fan of the higher fat approach so the higher fat, the appropriate amount of protein, and the intermittent fasting kind of approach. And I really am liking it with the walking. I know when I would used to do this with the step meal, after a while, or a long time of being in a deficit, the step meal would just kind of make me hungrier. But the way that I'm doing it now with the walks, I feel full, I feel good all day. I don't have any desire to really eat more than I'm supposed to. And I'm attributing it to the high satiety of all my meals being protein and fat. It just sits on me longer because it takes longer to digest fat. And the protein is satiating. And intermittent fasting in itself, once you get into a window that I'm kind of starting when I sleep and just forcing the issue with that first walk, that kind of blunts hunger as well. The other perk about this is I'm conscious of my waist size, being a physique competitor, and seeing the trend of where things are going. I don't want my waist to be so big. So intermittent fasting will help out with that. The lower food volume from having fats will help out with that too. And fats typically aren't as the healthy fats typically aren't inflammatory, and by that I mean any kind of bloating. So that's the approach that I'm taking. I really like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm just gonna continue it going forward. Another approach that people can do, or that you can do, is carb cycling. So how I would approach that, I've done it in the past. Well, let me say that I've done it in the past. I'm not a fan. I'm the type of person where having carbs when I'm hungry, or just having carbs in general, makes me want to have more carbs. I don't know, I just got a bad kind of feedback loop with carbs. And it's almost all carbs. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be rice, it could be rice, it could be potatoes, it could be quinoa, or sweet potatoes. And anything that's high sugar, junk food, or whatever, it's out the window. Once I have one, I just keep going. So that's why me personally, I'm not a fan of it. But I would actually have and I have actually put some of my clients on it, but carb cycling. The way I'd approach it in this season that we're all experiencing is pretty similar to the high fat approach that I had. You're just gonna shift your macronutrients. Oh, and with all of this, I'm ashamed I forgot to say this off the break, but you have to be in a calorie deficit or else it won't work. Doesn't matter. When I'm saying high fat and appropriate amount of protein, it's still within the context of me creating a calorie deficit. So I might be eating enough calories from my BMR, but then all my activity of the day is what I'm using to drive the fat loss. So with that being said, how I would approach the carb cycling is similar to how I would approach or how I did the fat, but because you're having carbs aren't as calorie dense. You're going to probably have some, rather than do 2 to 3 meals, you might end up doing 3 to 5 meals a day. You want to keep your fats in there just really low. Yeah, like really low. So just how that would shake out. On, let's say, myself as an example, training 2 days a week and upper lower split. I would, on the days that I train, I'd wake up, do my fasted cardio, do some work, have a meal, then go train, then have a meal with carbs in it, definitely with carbs in it after I train, and then probably have another meal with carbs in it, maybe 2 to 3 hours after that. And then the rest of the meals, so the first meal and the rest of the meals of the day, I'd probably keep those kind of like lower or like meat and veggie, kind of like how I typically like to do anyway. And then on the day that I'm not training, rather than have 2, 3, 3 to 5. So let's say on the high carb day where you're training with weights and you're doing your fasted cardio, let's say you have 4 meals like with carbs. On the days that you aren't training with weights and you just wake up, do life, and do your cardio, your normal fasted cardio, I'd say probably just have 1 or 2 carb meals, but save them until later toward the end of the day. Maybe have one right after. Maybe have one as your first meal after you do that fasted cardio, and then have another one probably toward the end of the day, and that's it. That's it. I mean, there's no need to have a high, medium, and low because, your workout. I'm going under the assumption that you're not having frequent workouts like 7 days a week or 6 days a week or 5 days a week, and you're not hitting a heavy leg day, heavy back day. Those require a lot of. Those could be very taxing and require a lot of carbs. But you're not having that. You're just having an upper lower kind of day, or at least that's the way like that I'm phrasing it. And that's about it for the carb cycling approach. And then you could also calorie cycle, and in which case, before I go there, let me talk about the foods for carb cycling. I'm still gonna preach healthy, wholesome foods. And healthy is thrown around out of here, but I'm gonna say as minimally processed as possible. So I'm talking about quinoa, maybe your brown rice or your black wild rice, black rice or wild rice, brown rice, quinoa, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, oatmeal is good too. I've got more. If you're a client of mine, I know when I send you out the diet that I give you, I also send you out this kind of template I made for building your own diet, and it's got all the carbs in there. And that's actually free. So anybody just hit me up if I haven't already put it on my site, but I'll put it up there. I'll try to put it up there. So last thing, calorie cycling. This video is almost 20 minutes long as it is, but calorie cycling. Real similar to the carb cycling approach. You want to say, just gonna find out like your BMR, adjust it for your activity. Granted, we're in this season of the world and everybody's on timeout. Activity is probably going to be low, but you're trying to hit fat loss anyway. So find out like your BMR, put in a little factor for what your calories should be. based on your activity. Um, and But this is where I would differ it. Me personally, I would differ it here. I would try to maybe like 200 calories more than my BMR on days that I'm not in the gym. I just wake up and do my cardio, just hit my BMR plus 200 extra calories, and you can break that down however you want, whether it's higher carb, higher fat, whatever. There are different ways to set up it's different ways to set up your diet in that sense. But what we're just talking about is overall calorie deficit. So make sure that you're in a deficit. Hit your BMR plus 200 calories. Go about your days. So that's 5 of my 7 days. Just using me as an example. 5 of my 7 days are going to be my BMR plus 200 more calories from whatever foods and protein sources. I'm going to break that up into those 2 days where I'm training. I'm actually going to probably bump it up to, let's say, just for the sake of easy example, my BMR plus 500 calories. And specifically, this is how it's going to break down. The minute you finish training to the next day, that's when you need to have the higher calories. So you want to kind of block your day off in that sense. So if I'm training at 1 p.m. in my friend's basement right now, then I'm probably going to have one meal before I go train, and then I'm going to have all the higher calorie meals from the minute I finish training until probably like probably like just for the end of the day, because I'm starting at 1 p.m. So I have from like 1 p.m. until like 9 or 10 p.m. to get the rest of my calories in, higher calorie. And the reason why you want to do that is because you're still training, so you're training and you're in a deficit. So the same principles apply. You want to stop the muscle loss or the catabolism as soon as possible. So that's when you go ahead have your carb meal right after you train. The carbs will drive up insulin, which will shut off the catabolism process. That's why carbs are muscle sparing. Then you want to give your body, while still staying in a deficit, you want to give your body the calories it needs to prioritize rebuilding the muscle and refilling the glycogen stores and all that. So it's just a smarter way to do it. And then the rest of the week you're still in your typical calorie deficit, because again, we're just we're adding on to our BMR. So your BMR is just what you need just to stay alive. I'm pretty sure just throughout the course of the day of cooking, cleaning, walking around the house a couple times, whatever it is that you're doing, or walking the dog, or going on your walk for cardio in the morning, you're probably going to burn through those extra 200 calories. But that's it. That's the approach. So again, hey guys, just reprioritize your strategy going into, or as we continue this extended timeout. The world will return to normal soon, and when it does, come out looking shredded, looking good, looking great for the summer. Have the abs that you want it now. Like the situation's kind of forced us all into that position, so might as well just make the most of it. All right, that's it. If you're looking for diet help, or when we get back in the weight room, if you're looking for a trainer, my link is in the description. Hit me up. Also, if you're looking for supplements, I got 20% off of Chemex supplements. Use the link in the description. AK20 at checkout, get you 20% off all of your supplements that you get with them. Follow me on Instagram, Atlas Consulting, all one word, and consulting with a K. Link in the description. Also, hit us up. It's a lot of plugs. Fat Podcast on Instagram and on YouTube. Hit us up. Follow us there. Just similar health and fitness and training topics, just more broad. And then what else? There's something I'm forgetting. Oh yeah. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. All right, man. Y'all stay blessed.